It is now board of directors of the company itself which authorizes the company to issue the share capital. Now in that authority, they would have mentioned the number of shares and the value of each share at which it can be offered. Do you find that in the balance, in the brackets?
Yes, yes.
Yes. 10 rupees.
One equity share of 1 rupees.
1 rupee.
And there are two entries actually authorized.
The face value is 10.
Issue
51 lakh. 51 lakh.
There are two. One is equity shares, and other is called cumulative redeemable preference shares. Something.
First you get this clear in your mind. Now the shares. Sir, you come back. Now don't even curiously look into the second line. When you approach the public for subscription, against which you issue the share certificates, which is an asset for the investor. There are two kinds of shares that a company may issue. One is called ordinary share, another is called preference share. Ordinary share is also called equity. All these are new words, sir. You must keep on writing because it keeps a function. Just if you keep listening to me, relying upon your memory, it won't work. I have learned the hard way. And equity is again second time it's appearing under a different context. Earlier, what was the context? Equity is the total of share capital plus reserves. Now I am saying there are two kinds of shares. One is called an equity share. Again I am using the word equity. Now equity share is also called ordinary share. And preference share. Do not miswrite that word preferential. Don't do that. Preference is preference. In some other context, we shall encounter the word preferential. At this moment, there are two shares, equity and preference, or ordinary and preference. The difference is that every share certificate will say what is the rate of dividend that the investor is entitled to. A 1 rupee share means one share paper with a face value of ₹1. Face value means what is printed on the share certificate, and it will be the base for calculation of dividends. It has no other implication. Supposing the company says that I will sell you 1 rupee share if you give me 2 rupees. I will not print 2 rupees there. I will print only 1 rupee, but I will collect 2 rupees from you. That means you must pay me a premium of 1 rupee. Now 2 rupees is the issue price.
Yes.
1 rupee is the face value. The difference between 2 and 1, namely 1, is called premium. Next point. If that is so, can I make an issue of a 1 rupee face value share for 75 paise?
It's not profitable.
It is not permitted under the law. That is not possible. Some words say it is not legal. Now this process of issuing for 0.75 rupee, a 1 rupee face value share, is called issue at discount. And shares are not permitted to be issued at discount under the Companies Act.
But we have something called for employees or someone.
Not a discount. They are employee shares permitted to be issued at a price lower than the market price or lower than a price quoted for the general public.
Yes.
You can't call it discounted price. It's a concessional price. Don't confuse concession and discount. Discount is below the par value. What is printed below that is called discount. Even for employees, no share can be issued at discount. You can issue it at concession.
Yes.
Now you understand the face value, issue at premium, issue at discount. When I issue it only for 1 rupee, a share of face value 1 rupee, what is it called?
Issue at face value.
At par. So it is at par, at discount, at premium. The differences between equity share and premium and preference share are 1.
Differences between premium and
Equity share and preference share.
We are talking about equity and premium, preference share.
Yeah.
I am narrating the differences between ordinary share and preference share.
Different.
They are 1. Equity shares earn dividend,
Equity share earn.
earn, EARN, earn dividend as decided by the board from period to period. That is from year to year. I use the word period to period because sometimes discounts, dividends are payable more than once a year, half yearly, quarterly, etc. That means that the dividend rate depends on the profits. If there is no profit at all in 1 year, the company may skip the dividends for the ordinary shareholders. If there is super profits, the dividend rate may be raised. Conversely, it can be reduced if the profits are inadequate. The next difference is that the ordinary shareholders stand last in the rank to recover the assets of the company in case of winding up. In the case of a winding up of the company, the ordinary shareholders stand last in priority of distribution of the assets of the company. Write it in your own words in the manner you feel comfortable. I'm just speaking out. Make notes only, that's all. Lastly and most importantly, the ordinary shareholders have voting rights in all matters related to the company. Have voting rights in all matters related to the company. That's it. Now, the preference shareholders. First, they receive dividends at a contracted fixed rate, regardless of the volume of profit. You got it? A super profit year, they will still get 9%, 8%, whatever is contracted.
Why it is so? Why?
Now we'll come to that. First understand the differences. We'll justify each later.
Regardless of
We'll justify each
Because of
later.
profit.
We'll justify after I have finished it. The answer will evolve by itself. Don't worry. Sir, did you finish writing? Right? So they get a contracted fixed rate, irrespective of the profit.
Yes, sir.
You should understand that when I say irrespective of the profit, it doesn't mean that they will get a dividend even when there is a loss.
Okay. So that
Now,
will-
dividend is payable whether to the first category or the second category only if sufficient profits are generated to meet all of them. Are you with me? There should not only be profits, but there should be adequate profits and to meet the dividends. And only then they get the dividends. It is not some sort of a loan that I have borrowed from a shareholder who will receive interest whether I have made profits or not. He is not a lender, he is an investor. He is a participant in the business and therefore in the risk of the business. So he will take a hit if the company takes a hit, not a lender. Next point. He will rank prior to the ordinary shareholder but after the creditors. To receive liquidation proceeds. That's a short form of saying assets of the company when it is dissolved. Did you understand this?
Yes.
He will only rank one step ahead of the ordinary shareholder, but he will still remain last compared to the other creditors of the company. And lastly, what did we say? The voting right?
Yes.
Similarly here,
For all.
preference shareholder will have voting rights only in matters concerning his interests, not in all matters as we said in the case of ordinary shareholder. Infosys wants to develop a collaboration arrangement with a North Korean company. They place it as a resolution to be passed by the general body. This is an agenda. A special general body is called. This proposition is placed as a resolution to be passed. The preference shareholders will not be able to exercise their voting, but only the ordinary shareholders will exercise. The reason is, this decision does not concern his interests as an investor. You will perhaps argue, will it not? Definitely it will. How?
Because North Korea, I mean, it may affect the profit and loss of the company.
Why does it matter? What does it matter to him? He gets only a fixed dividend.
No, but if it goes to loss, he will not get any dividend.
That is okay. I am talking about expansion program. Ordinary shareholder has a say in the matter because he expects that his wealth will go up because the dividend rate is related to the volume of profits, he perhaps feels that the collaboration will result in higher profits and therefore higher dividend, but preference shareholder has no such opportunity. He will only be keeping watching because his 9% is safe and it won't increase.
But he is concerned about the company if they invest on something which is going to affect the company's profit. The preferential shareholders are liable for that, right?
He has already contracted, sir. I have got the right to touch 9% from your profits, low or high, provided there is profit. And expansion may increase the profit or may not increase the profit, I am not concerned. As of today, I am entitled to 9% as of today's position. Expansion, I will not be, I will not have a say in the matter because it's a risk-return adventure with which I am not concerned.
So, but then in that case, the contract is only on profit. I will stay with you.
Yes,
Otherwise, I will
only
get out.
contract. Preference shareholders' voting right relates to matters which affect his dividend rate.
Okay. So the
Supposing the dividend rate is going to be amended
okay.
in the long run, either way, higher or lower, he has a voting right. All right. If dividend, if the face value of a share, preference share, is sought to be split, a 10 rupee face value preference share is made into two 5 rupee each face value shares. It affects the interest of the preference shareholder. Therefore, he has a voting right. That's the difference. Now, your question comes back. Your question was, why is it that
The interest, I mean, the interest of the preferential shareholder.
No, earlier you asked another question.
So who,
Yeah,
why,
I mean,
why preference?
Why does it get?
Yeah, why would I like if I only invest on a profitable organization? If they are like going towards the loss making company, I should not take do anything, just get out.
Sir, you are an adventurer. Even if you are a preference shareholder,
Correct.
you are an adventurer.
Okay.
You invested risk-free fixed
Somewhere
deposit
else.
in the bank.
Okay.
Having accepted the risk, and the dividend rate will be attractive to you. You think it is better than a risk-free investment.
But still, I don't have any rights to, okay, this way is going towards the
You have no voting right except
cannot-
on the items which concern your interest.
Otherwise, be an ordinary shareholder.
Therefore, he suffers a loss also of dividend when the company is making super profits, when all others are getting 230% interest dividend rate. He is helplessly watching with his 9%.
Sir, again, as in case of ordinary equity owners, so even the preference shareholder owner, he also may not get dividend in spite of profit, isn't it? As decided by the board.
It's a fixed one.
Sir, his rate of dividend is already decided by the board and he has been given a contract.
Rate I understood. Rate I understood.
Yes.
But if the board decides against the dividend,
Yes, of course.
he will
Yes,
also
sir.
not get. He will
Yes.
also-
If the board decides to skip the dividend in a particular year across the board for both preference and equity holders, preference holder should take the decision in his stride. And he has a voting right in that matter because his interest is affected. He has a voting right. Now, when you skip a dividend for some reason, what could be the reason?
invest, whatever it is.
That's
Expansion.
expansion. In spite of unpaid profit, dividend may be skipped because some project has come up, and with the votes permitting, including preference shareholders voting, dividend is skipped. The preference shareholder will immediately enter into the shoes of the ordinary shareholder if in a particular year his contracted dividend rate is skipped, dividend is skipped. He becomes an ordinary shareholder, which means he will start enjoying the voting rights on all matters. Until such a year when the dividend is received. Got it? Now what happens to the interim period? When he lost out the contracted interest at the instance of the board, he will get it cumulatively in the year where profits are sufficient and where the dividend rate is assumed. That is why they are called cumulative preference shares. I think you read that word.
Yeah, cumulative redeemable preference shares.
Now did you understand?
So why both are there?
Sir?
So why there are two types? What is the reasons?
All right.
So he got compensated for the those years which it was skipped.
Probably in that.
That's right.
And the ordinary he may not get. Ordinary.
Ordinarily he would not have got this. That's right. Yes, sir. All right. There are two classes of investors among population. If at my stage I have some money, would you think that I will invest in ordinary shares of big companies, however glorious the future may be? In my case, my future has arrived. Therefore, my contracted dividend rate is very attractive to me. That kind of population invests in preference shares. Preference shares is also called widow's share, W-I-D-O-W. I have lived my life and there is no point in my saving for others. They are all well taken care of. I don't want to take any risk anymore. I have passed that stage. So when I don't want to take any risk, I am compromising with low return. Because the natural law of life is higher the risk, higher the return. I'm not interested in taking high risk, therefore I compromise with low return. But I want a sure and steady return. Not a return wavering in its fate. I have passed that stage. Another person, I have just begun my investment career. I have got a lot of time, a lot of nights to go before I sleep.
Robert Frost.
The woods are dark, deep. Deep comes last. Lovely, dark, lovely and deep. But I have promises to keep before I sleep. So I will take an adventure. I can take a hit in the long run. I got a LRP in my life. What's that? Long range plan.
Long range. Still, I know what I'm thinking is still it is a risk, right? Because you are investing on a company.
This is a portfolio in which this is one part of my investment, sir.
So this is a list for him. It's a risk.
I believe that whatever be my life, my age, my investment of 100 rupees should not be put in a single basket. So I have kept in fixed deposit in State Bank. I have also perhaps done a little bit of dabbling in real estate and a little bit dabbling in gold. And the rest, something like, I have 100 rupees, 60 rupees I have put in fixed deposits, 30 rupees in real estate, 10 rupees in gold, and all the rest in shares.
That's a big portfolio.
All magnanimously. At your age, maybe at Arun Kumar's age.
I think risk.
100 minus
He's what we call his risk appetite, risk prone.
tolerance.
Risk prone. I am risk averse.
Fundamental definition.
Risk averse and risk prone. Depending upon the
Segmentation. It comes to our market segmentation. We took a class on segmentation, correct?
Right.
Consumer base.
and the rule of thumb what they say is 100 minus your age. I mean, if you are 30, 100 minus 30, that is 70 you can invest in the equities. So if you are 70, maybe 30 you can invest.
What is the logic of this?
Same thing, sir. Rule of thumb, I said. I mean, all these, the late press, all these finance matters advice. This is the keep on mentioning.
And it's just before the sports page, so
Exactly.
you need to know.
Sir, as you said, the authorized capital is decided by the board.
That's right.
Is there any benchmark or yardstick for
Yes,
them?
very good question. Very good question is how a faculty answers when he doesn't know the answer. Very good question. But this time it happens that I know a little bit of it, so I will share it with you. Sky is the limit to fix the authorized capital because it's the board of directors only. And there is nothing very much of any kind of thought required because it is only a permission and license for driving a car, and you may or you may not drive the car, what does it matter? So authorized is just mentioned as a figure. Is one way of looking at it. Another way is you have to file a return about this authorized capital to the registrar of companies as information. And he will ask the question, and authorized capital also has to be decided by the general body meeting, including all these people, including preference shareholders, because in the authorized capital the number of preference shares are also mentioned. They will ask, why do you fix 15 million rupees? Do you have any project on hand? After all, the authorized capital is one step before going to the public and making an announcement for a launch. There should be some relativity between authorized capital and actual share capital that you really want. You have to satisfy the general body, number one. Number two, depending on the amount of authorized capital you have announced, you have to pay a fee per year to the registrar of companies. Maybe a small percentage, maybe 0.1, 0.2%, but still it is money. And whenever you want more than what you have thought is sufficient here under this authorized capital, you can always go back to the board and once again increase the authorized capital. So why keep a gap between a high authorized capital and actual share capital offered to the public? There's the reason. That's all the answer.
Sir, shall we take a break?
Yes,
sir?
I think so. I think we should take a break because I think they have also forgotten the passage of time.